Greetings, kids. We're going to do something a little different today. I want to try and make you familiar with some terms that I use pretty regularly, because most of you don't know what I'm talking about. You may remember that I've continually made reference to this book, The Handbook to Higher Consciousness, that I'm saying is the best single book that you could read, that I'm saying is the book that transformed my life. What the hell is higher consciousness? So I'm going to spend this next 15 minutes or so talking about the notion of higher consciousness and its parameters, okay? It's not some wild and crazy stuff. This has been known forever and ever and ever. All the great mystic masters going back into the Hindu faith, the Buddhist faith, all those guys, everybody has the same general concept of the 7 centers of consciousness that a human being can occupy. That most of you operate in the first 3, which is security, sensation, and power. You know, there's even been books written about that in the Western world, about how you can get all your act together just by being a master of those 3 things: security, sensation, and power. And a simple explanation of what that is, in the striving to gratify needs process that human beings go through, the first thing that has to be taken care of is security. You have to have a place to eat. You have to have a place to be sheltered. You have to have money and resource to provide the food that you're going to eat. These are the things that are absolutely essential to helping you. I'm trying to get this thing centered on the thing. The camera's coming off the phone at a little bit, it's angled differently, but it's just kind of in the center, okay? So, security is obvious. You got to cover your security bases before you can have any extra energy. And the second you get those bases covered, and some of you can relate this to your own personal lives, you know? As soon as you got a job, you got some money coming in, you got a roof over your head, you're eating reasonably decent.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto South Walnut Avenue.
Left over, the first thing that you do is you start trying to find some sensation. Better food, entertainment, love, companionship, sports, whatever you do.
Turn right onto South Walnut Avenue.
Beyond the security aspect of your life. In other words, you can't move into these things comfortably until you got your security stuff out of the way. So now you can start having some sensation. You know,
head southwest on East Main Street toward First Avenue, then turn right onto First Avenue.
I don't want to do that, but I'm out in the middle of nowhere, guys, so I need to have that GPS on. I'm really sorry. But I'm seriously out in the middle of the boondocks, and I don't know where I'm at, so...
Turn right, then turn left.
And now I'm turning left, okay? Oh, my goodness, my goodness.
Turn left.
All right, let's see. All right, go. So, as I said, take care of your security needs. Now you can start looking for some sensation. Oh, okay.
Continue straight.
Are lumped into sensation. But I think you understand that. So what starts to happen then in the evolution of a human being's modus operandi, for lack of a better word, when you start getting your sensation stuff down, the concept of power comes to bear. So you got all your bases covered as far as food, shelter, you got some entertainment covered.
In a quarter mile, turn right.
And if you still have extra energy, very often you start devoting it to protecting what you have. It's both a security and a power issue, but also to reaching out and flexing your muscles. This is
turn right onto North Baileyville Road.
The notion of power comes in, okay? Most people spend their entire lives operating in...
Continue on North Baileyville Road for 10 miles.
Security, sensation, and power. The 4th center of consciousness is called love. Love happens not when you're loved. That's always a bonus. That can help you no matter where you're at. But when you start loving, this notion of unconditional love, and you start giving it away, that means you're a helpmate, you're a friend, you're a lover, you're a father, you're a husband, nana, nana, nana. You pass out all those things, and you're giving this loving energy without any hooks. Remember we talked about conditional love? That conditional love says, I'm going to give you this, but you got to give me that. Love is a giving process. And the fourth center of consciousness, which is love, means unconditional giving to the best of your ability. Some people spend their entire lives just giving. I would offer you, I fall into it. To get to where I'm at, you got to be doing that all the time. I have so much, not money. My life is so complete. I just got so much extra that if you want it, you can have it. Here, all this stuff I'm good. What I'm sharing with you is the summation of my life, and I'm just giving it to you. I just love you guys. I mean, you know what? You are the fruition of that energy. I've come to the point where I have all this giving energy, and I'm just going to give it away. And if I do a really, really good job, and of course I'm going to share this has been going on forever, the fifth center of consciousness kicks in, and that's called abundance. If you keep giving it out, very often it means that you have enough energy, residual energy, past security, sensation, power, to give it away, give it away, give it away. An amazing thing starts to happen. It starts coming back. When it starts coming back, the phenomenon of abundance occurs. You realize that, oh my God, the universe must love me. I mean, all this loving energy is being radiated toward you. You have a gentleness that surrounds you, an understanding that surrounds you. And if you're angry, bitter, pissed off, you don't have much understanding going for you. Those kind of things don't happen if you're an understanding person. Now, granted, this is an oversimplification. We have 15 minutes, but we're going to try and do this because we're halfway in. If you continually give what you have, and it starts coming back to you, this notion of abundance, oh my God, it's a joy to be alive because the universe just shares everything that it has to share with me. It's got nothing to do with good, bad, as relative to the immediate circumstance. Everything is wonderful. Even if your life sucks, it's wonderful if you have the perspective to understand how much it's teaching you so you can rise above your life sucking, you know? By the time you're basked in abundance for some time, and actually before that, if you're skilled, a concept called conscious awareness happens. That's the sixth center of consciousness. A part of you, these are called, my master Ken called these finer energies. You're real subtle. You got all your bases covered, your life is good, and suddenly you realize that you have this incredible awareness about what's going on with you. My awareness is such that as I'm speaking to you, I'm monitoring what I'm speaking. It's a dynamic linked thing. It's so sophisticated that if I get to this point, I can see if I'm using the wrong word and make a change midstream so that what I'm giving you is as good as I can give you within the time frame that I have and the moments that we are here together. And then the last comes, it's called cosmic awareness. That's when God comes. And then you just become one with it all. That's the top, guys. That's the seventh center of consciousness. I'm going to say to you outright, most people never experience it in their life. It's a high order of mental and spiritual discipline that creates these kind of things. So when a master teacher talks about higher consciousness, he's talking about helping you understand how to move fluidly through the lower centers of consciousness, security, sensation, and power, and embrace the higher centers of consciousness, which is love, abundance, conscious awareness, and cosmic awareness. so that you might move into bliss. And bliss is an emotional state. You got it all. You don't need anything. You're in love with the world as it exists. You see all of humanity as a part of you. The separation dissolves between you and other people. You start seeing us all as one thing. And all these are components of higher consciousness that I'm going to bet right now, just giving you this, talking into this box, 90% of the people that are out there listening, whatever that number is, have no idea what the hell this stuff is. Never experienced it. Because unless you've been taught the value of these things, the higher centers come when you start understanding that it's all God. Up until then, let's say you're a Christian, you're waiting for these things to happen when you die and go to heaven. I'm trying to put this right. Some of you, perhaps many of you, have been taught that if you live a really good life, all these wonderful rewards of higher awareness will come to you as a part of your emerging. Most often, it's when you go someplace else to get them. You know, God's waiting for you. He's going to help you get to where you're going, and then when you die, He's going to bring them to you. And you all have some kind of view of what your sense of heaven is. And I always tell people, well, what are you doing when you're in heaven? What's your imagination of what's going on in heaven? Oh, we're with God. But they're not really sure. You're walking hand in hand with God. He's got a radiance around you that you're just immersed in. What do you do in your spare time? You know, what do people in heaven do? Well, it depends. If it's imaginary heaven, which is a place where most of you guys live, you don't do much. You know, if you're a believer in heaven, here's an exercise for you. Get someplace where you can be quiet and ask yourself, what do I think I can expect from heaven? Some of you have been slaving and depriving yourself all of your lives on the premise that you're going to get to go to heaven. What the hell does that mean? What becomes of who you think you are? And who you think you are is your consciousness, okay? So when you die, most people accept the fact that your whole being shuts down. Your brain stops working, it decays, you become a pile of dust, and, dust to dust. There you go. But what's going on with any notion of you as a complete entity, as a spiritual entity? That's why guys like me tell you, this is heaven, guys. The fact that you don't know it doesn't mean it's not heaven. There are people all over the world who understand that they're in heaven. They have everything in their life is beautiful, and they have the right flow to complement being with that. So what we're going to try to do over these many, many conversations that we're going to have is to help you get into a sense about where you're at. The one thing I will tell you is this. All of your pain comes from the first three centers of consciousness. If you're in security, God, you're dodging, you're afraid, everything, oh God, all your pain associated with the immediate sense of your well-being is taken care of. If you're in sensation, your frustrations around whether you're getting laid enough or loved enough or enough money or all that stuff, that goes down. And if you're in power and you're not able to exercise it, or someone's exercising more than you have, all kinds of fear, and all those kind of emotions, those negative emotions that people have, those are all phenomenon of the lower centers of consciousness. When you get into
in a quarter mile, turn left onto South Galena Avenue.
That stuff all dissolves. Just dissolves. I don't want to lose this because we only got a few seconds left. So I'm going to do a couple of tapes. Maybe even today. I got a lot of driving to do today, and I'm in the right mood for it. Matter of fact, this is 1439. I got to make a turn here. I'm going to make this turn after this guy in his ugly ass orange car goes by. And I'm pointing toward my next part of the destination. I love you guys.
Head west on East South Street toward South